Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am here with our mystery blocks that we have made so far, 10 of them. If you're not familiar with this series, I have a playlist link in the description of this video. It will also pop up on the end screen. I promised you that after I had 10 of these mystery blocks made that we could start putting some together, so that's what we're going to do in this video. Should be super easy and super quick. I'll probably put I'm going to try to put 4 together, maybe just 2. We'll see how it goes. I did number them. 1, 2, 3. So I will be telling you which blocks I'm using, and then you can go to that video and make that block if you haven't done that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this camera on the tripod, and then I will decide which 2 I'm going to start with, and we'll get started. We're going to start out really easy. We're going to put these pieces together, and we're going to cut just one piece. And I'm just going to show you the best way to figure out what size piece you want, because you know I believe in cutting bigger than you need, and you absolutely have to cut bigger than what you think you might have to cut, because we have seam allowances to take into consideration, right? So we're going to do all that. Where's my measuring tape? Oh, I'm going to just use my ruler. It's easier. Oh yeah, this is block number 2. And I'm leaving it in that direction, and this is block number 7. And in case you need to know, this one I believe is 9-inch square. Yep, 9 inches square. This one is 6 inches square. Somewhere I do have some rectangles. 9 inches square, 6 inches square. And so here's what a lot of people do. They would line up the top. Now you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You could put this on the bottom if that works out better for you, and then put your piece up here. Some people would just put that together. You line up the tops, and then they would say, ooh, that's 3 inches. I need 3 inches. No, because when you sew whatever you put here to this, you're going to lose a 1/2 inch. So you have to add a 1/2 inch. So if you measure 3, and you know we're not perfect, right? So we're going to be generous. But this is about 3. So we would need at least 3.5. But I can see that I'm a little short, maybe like 1/8 inch. So I'm just going to cut a piece 4 inches this way. And because I like to be generous, I don't want to cut a strip that's just 6 inches, because if we sew a little crooked or whatever, it might not be straight on the edges. So I'm going to do at least 6.5. If you're more comfortable with 7, go ahead and do 7 inches. We're going to sew it there, and then we'll be able to trim. So I just need to find one piece that I want to put right here. And I'm showing you this as though you are looking at it in, in the correct direction. Like if I'm looking at it, I'm doing it this way. But I'm letting you guys look at it, okay? Let me cut a piece. What did I say? I'm going to do 4 by 6.5 or 7. I'm going to be using this cat print. I've been using it lately. We did something else with it. I might still have this in my eBay store. I believe I was selling it 2-yard cuts. It might be sold out, I'm not sure, but you can go check my eBay store. The link is always in the description of my videos. So I have a piece that is about 6.5 this way and 4 this way, and I'm just going to be sewing that. I'm going to center this kind of onto this piece, and then, if I crook it a little bit, won't matter. I'll be able to trim, and we'll have a nice piece. And look, the cat is in another block. It's in my number 10 block. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm just going to go like this and sew there. So this is what I have, and you can see I need to trim. So I just put it down on my mat, and I put this piece, which has been trimmed when we made it, and I just lay it down. That looks good, and then I just follow. Get away from me. I just follow that line, and I trim there. And there's the line for this side, and I trim there. I don't care what size things are. I just care that they're trimmed. Now we're going to sew this to number 2. Now look, I'm cutting it close. I don't have much wiggle room at all, so I really should have cut this 4.5. But I'm good, so I'm just going to flip it this way, and I'm going to sew right here. And if it's not perfect, well, I can just trim the whole piece. I see that I can trim just a little bit off the top and bottom of this piece, and so I will. You'd never know that this was 2 pieces that, were different sizes. And it's like, well, then why don't you just make everything the same size? Because I don't like to do that. Because when I made some of these blocks, I thought, okay, this is just as much as I feel like doing right now. I made like a 6-inch. Sometimes it was a 9-inch. And I know that it gives me more freedom to put them anywhere I want. Now the choices are that I can make just 2 other pieces, or I can do something specifically to fit here. But I think I'm going to just put this aside for right now and just put 2 other pieces together. I'm going to join blocks number 3 and block number 10, and this is going to be at the top, and we're going to fill this space. This is 6 inches square, and this one is 8.5 by 10. So make sure, yeah. So we're going to fill this space. You could measure like we did before and just put 1 whole piece, but I want to do 2 pieces. What I'm going to do is say, how tall does it have to be? Okay, we're right at 4, so we know we want 4.5 or even 5. So I found this, and it's certainly longer than 4, so that's good. Now I want something here, and I kind of wanted it, let me explain that, to hit here, which is about 3 inches. But I have to add the 1/2 inch for the seam allowance. So this is actually about 3.5 inches wide. Now we want something here, and instead of trying to figure out all the math, let's just put something that will go past this, and we're also going to lay it over this one by about 1/2 inch. I don't think that's going to be wide enough. That worries me. Okay, hang on. When I get layer cakes that have these weirdo pieces in there, there's really not much that you can do with these. I use the colorful parts in crumb quilts, things like that. So I'm going to try to get a piece out of this. Okay, let's see if this works. Now this is certainly going to be wide enough. It's like we're making our mystery block, how we're doing that. This is wide enough and it's long enough. When I sew these 2 things together here, we're going to have plenty of wiggle room. So let me do that. Doesn't matter what size this is. You just want it to be wider than this, and, overlap it if you want, 1/2 inch. We are good. We're good to go. Like that, right there. So now I have this. I'm going to pull this away for a minute. And now I can decide, do I want it more this way and cut some of this off? That's kind of what I want. So I'm just going to, but I'm going to leave a little wiggle room. So I'm going to have a little bit of this bottom piece sticking out on this side and this side. And I'm going to sew these 2 together like this, right here, and then I'll trim. So I trimmed this side even with up here. And I trimmed this side even with up here. Now I'm going to match up my tops. I don't care that that's longer. We're going to trim that after. I don't trim anything until it's time to trim it. And we're just going to sew these pieces together like this. I'm just lining up the tops like that. And if this happens to get a little crooked, that's okay. You can trim the top again right there. Now I just have to trim the bottom. And I trimmed, I don't know, a smidgen off this. There was a little piece right there sticking out. See how cool that piece came out? So we joined 4 blocks today, and it was fairly easy. I hope you think it was. And so now we have this and this, but they don't match. They don't match. That's okay. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, we can trim things or add on. There's plenty of choices. I will be making more mystery blocks because we need a lot that we can play with. And it's only really toward the end or like a little bit more than halfway that you have to start kind of planning. But we didn't have to plan stuff. And we know that this is going to work for us somehow. So I'm going to ask you to subscribe. I insist, actually. Check out the links in the description of this video. There's always all kinds of helpful links down there. Other videos, my eBay, stuff like that. Consider picking up one of my scrap packs. The link is there for my eBay scrap packs. You're going to love them. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with more soon. Bye!